we have a special event that is coming up this weekend. It's the first annual Montreal Hip Hop Summit, and we have so much hope and expectation, and a lot of listeners here at CKUT and as well the Montreal community are really proud that we actually have a first annual hip hop summit coming. So there's going to be a live radio broadcast on CKUT during the Masters at Work show, live performances by BU, Chaplin, Dramatic. There's going to be a special tribute to Bad News Brown, and the unveiling of the very first annual Montreal Hip Hop Wall of Fame list of inductees. But tonight we have a special caller on the line. We have Reverend Darryl Gray. Hello, Reverend.
Hello. It's great to be with you guys tonight. You guys are doing a wonderful job, and I'm surprised that you're not number one on their list rather than number two. What's up with that? They didn't get my call?
Reverend, you didn't call. You should have called them, because we know it would have been number one.
Good work.
We thank you for calling us in. We know you're busy and preparing for this weekend. You are going to be one of the speakers there as well.
Right. I have the honor of working with the Muhammad Study Group, who are really the initiators of this wonderful event. It's something whose time has come. The pleasure of working with the brothers there, Brother Roger Muhammad and others. My job will be to kind of co-MC in some spots, but and to be one of the speakers on the State of Hip Hop Union Roundtable, in which I'll have an opportunity to talk about the responsibilities that hip hop artists have. I don't think that any one of us would question the influence that hip hop has, not necessarily on this generation, but on society as a whole. The way that hip hop artists in the United States, in particular, came out in support of Barack Obama, and based upon their influence and their presence and their message, really encouraged a lot of young people, black and white and brown and yellow and red, to come out and make history in the United States. Hip-hop has that same influence here in Canada and really throughout the world. And so for me to be asked by the Muhammad Study Group to be part of it, it really is a high honor, and I'm deeply humbled by it.
Montreal hip-hop taking responsibility to change our community. Can you give us a little input on, this weekend, on what you will be speaking on?
Well, like I said, I'm going to focus primarily on the responsibility, and it is a huge one. Anytime you have a genre like hip-hop, anytime you have the influence that hip-hop has on young minds, the ability to shape and to mold young minds, with that influence, it's a great responsibility. And so my job is going to be not to chastise, but to challenge young artists to be the best that they can be, to take their art to the highest level possible, but to remember who you're speaking to, that you're speaking to a very impressionable group, no matter what generation they may be. And I think that if we look back at the influence that music has had, particularly in the black community throughout the ages, I don't think that, for me, outside of gospel, I can't think of a musical genre that has had more of an impact than hip-hop has had. And I was talking to a group just tonight. I've been influenced by hip-hop, too. I grew up. I'm part of that hip-hop culture, too. And I follow it, and I have to follow it because of the nature of my work and because I'm a parent. It's important that I know what my children are listening to. It's important that I know what children in my church and in the community are listening to. And that best helps us to address their needs and their wants and their desires and their goals, but also their anguish and their struggle and their pain. And I think hip-hop speaks to all of those things. I'm a big supporter. I like T.I. I like what he's doing, and I pulled out his "Live Your Life" song with Rihanna, and I like what it says. Allergic to the counterfeit, impartial to the politics, articulate, but I will still grab one by the collar quick. And whoever's having problems with their record sale, just holler tip. What he's saying, I think that was a transformation for this young brother. And for him, knowing where he came from and knowing where he is now, It's not just about the lyrics. It's about the attitude. It's about the persona and the personality. And I think that that's what young hip-hop artists need to understand. It's all about the presence. And I think that people like T.I. and others are putting it out there and making it known. But, once again, we've got Muggs, who is doing some phenomenal stuff now, who actually performed here at my church at a clean rap concert. We did clean rap, and he performed here. I mean, and also, when you talk about, the Lifetime Hip Hop Achievement Award, when you talk, about people like Malik Shaheed, when you talk about, Ricky D, and, some of the guys in my community, when you talk about Bad News Brown, I mean, you can't get any bigger than that. But there are a lot of other brothers and sisters who have really paved the way and have done well, and we need to recognize them. We need to acknowledge them, but also we need to say to those who are going underground and maybe doing and saying some things that are not conducive to healthy community and healthy environment and the development of healthy minds and bodies, we need to say, hey, wait a minute. If you're going to do this, take it serious. Be responsible. And for me, that's what I hope. That's the challenge that I'm going to be sharing. Those are the lyrics I'm going to be spitting. Take responsibility to change our community because you can.
This year is the first, I do stress the fact, it's the first annual Montreal Hip Hop Summit.
Right.
This isn't the first time that some organization has tried to bring together the Montreal hip hop community and make some sort of conference or summit or whatever you want to call it, just a meeting or gathering to iron out the state of Montreal hip hop and to pass another message or whatever other reasons that people have put them on. What differentiates this Montreal Hip Hop Summit from any of its predecessors?
I think that it's the way in which the Muhammad Study Group has done it. They've gone to great pains to reach out, to make sure that communities were included, French and English, that there is the gender recognition, that there is the language recognition, that there is the recognition, that generational recognition. And so I think, and one thing about the Muhammad Study Group, they're sticklers for detail. They're going to make sure that when they organize properly. So when you look at the State of the Hip Hop Union Roundtable Symposium and you look at the number of panelists and where they're coming from, once again, you see that the whole gamut of hip hop in Montreal is covered, but also the gamut of community is covered. When you look at the different presentations, the first 2011 Montreal Hip Hop Wall of Fame and the list of inductees, you'll see that great pains were taken to make sure that it was more inclusive than exclusive. The performers, the tribute performance to Bad News. I mean, now is the time. And I'll tell you why I think that this could not have been a better time. Mm-hmm. Once again, I'm going to go back to our cousins to the South. I think our cousins to the South have shown us with the presidential election
right.
and the whole get out the vote campaign, the influence and the power of hip-hop. I mean, listen, once again, I grew up on it. I know it was before your time. I know it was, Run DMC and Curtis Blow, and I know it was before. I know.
The Rev knows.
I know. But even for me, and I talked about Last Poets. I talked about Dr. Dre. I talked about Public Enemy. I grew up on that. DMX. I grew up on this. So I understand. that these are the stories that are being told by this generation, and for me, as someone, who's over 50, we've got to hear it. We have got to hear it.
Right.
Christian community has got to hear it. Religious leaders have got to hear it. Community leaders have got to hear it. Society has got to hear it, and we've got to make sure. Because once again, it is our children who are speaking truth to power, and we better hear it. And so I think that now is a great time. And we need to address the issues. When you look at what happened to Bad News, when we look at what happened to him,
right.
I mean, come on. I mean, we've got to talk. We've got to talk.
Because a lot of the youth want to say something, and the community is coming together. And the first annual Montreal Hip Hop Summit is a great way, and a lot of us are excited here. And we would like to thank you for calling us, Reverend. It always means, a lot to us when you take the time out to acknowledge the youth, the people in the community, because we don't get that still. And we would like to thank you for that. The Rev is always there to go and talk to, and he's always at the the youth events, and he supports us. He's out there in his Timbs. He's quoting some rap, and we really thank you for being there and being a positive role model for the youth out there.
Well, thank you very much. And I encourage.
In time of need, we thank you.
Thank you. I encourage all the young folk. And just lastly, I want to say the reason that I do it, you guys are not the leaders of the future. Don't let anybody sell you that garbage. You're the leaders of today. Take your position now. And we're here to support you, man. God bless.
The leaders of today, take your position out. We're going to end on that note, Reverend Gray. Thank you. The first annual Montreal Hip Hop Summit is going to be this Saturday, June 11th. There's going to be a live broadcast right here on CKUT 90.3 FM. And, of course, Lifetime Achievement Awards for Dice B, Mike Mission, and Ken Dog, and Booker T, and so many more. So go out, Montreal, and support. Let's come together and let's have a good discussion. Thank you, Reverend, for calling. This is Soul Perspectives on
CKUT 90.3.